She brought his daughter to clean. The boy pointed. "Daddy, look, it's her." The night was quiet, and the city lights of Toronto painted the sky in gold and blue. Inside a large glass-walled home, little Ethan sat at the kitchen island with his coloring book. His father, Daniel, a successful architect who spent more hours at the office than at home, had just returned after another long day. He promised Ethan they would have dinner together, but before they could even sit down, the sound of a knock echoed at the door. Daniel walked to open it, expecting maybe a neighbor or a delivery. Instead, he found a woman in her early 30s standing nervously. Her clothes were worn, and beside her stood a little girl about Ethan's age, holding her hand tightly. The woman spoke softly, almost apologetically. "I'm sorry for bothering you at this hour. I was told there's work here. I can clean, wash, or cook. I really need something, anything." Daniel frowned. He wasn't used to people showing up at his home like this. But before he could respond, Ethan peeked around his father's side and gasped. He pointed at the little girl and said loudly, "Daddy, look, it's her." Daniel looked confused, but Ethan ran forward with excitement. The little girl's face lit up too, as if they already knew each other. The truth came quickly. Ethan had been telling his father about a kind little girl at the park. She had once given him her sandwich when his fell into the dirt. That same girl now stood before them, her mother desperate for work. Daniel hesitated. He had money, yes, but he wasn't used to letting strangers into his home. Yet seeing his son hug the girl without hesitation made something inside him stir. He invited them inside. The woman introduced herself as Maria and her daughter as Lily. Life had been cruel to them. Maria's husband had abandoned her, and since then, she'd been struggling to find shelter and food. That night, Daniel offered her a chance. She could help with cleaning, but he paid her more than she expected, leaving her speechless. Over the next few weeks, Maria came often. She worked hard, never complaining, always polite. But what stood out most was the bond forming between Ethan and Lily. They laughed together, played together, and for the first time in months, Ethan seemed genuinely happy. Still, not everyone around Daniel approved. A few of his wealthy friends scoffed when they saw Maria and her daughter in his home. "You're too generous, Daniel. People like her will only take advantage." Those words lingered, and Daniel found himself questioning whether he was doing the right thing. But then he would look at his son, smiling brighter than ever, and realize kindness was never wasted. The turning point came one evening during a heavy snowstorm. Maria and Lily didn't show up as expected. Hours passed until Daniel decided to check the small motel where they were staying. What he found broke him. Maria was shivering, trying to keep Lily warm with a single thin blanket. They had lost power, and Maria had chosen not to bother him. Ethan, who was with his father, ran straight to Lily, wrapping his coat around her. In that moment, Daniel made a decision. He couldn't stand by while a little girl his son loved so much suffered. He brought Maria and Lily home that night. At first, she resisted, ashamed of her situation, but Daniel reassured her. "You helped my son when I wasn't there. You gave him kindness without knowing who he was. Let me do the same for you." Slowly, what began as an act of charity turned into something deeper. Maria became not just a helper but part of the family. Ethan and Lily grew inseparable, and Daniel realized his house no longer felt cold and empty, it felt like a home. The story ends with Daniel watching Ethan and Lily chase each other in the snow-covered yard, their laughter echoing through the night. Maria stood beside him, her eyes full of gratitude and tears. Sometimes, Daniel thought, family isn't just about blood. It's about love, kindness, and those who walk into your life when you least expect it. And for the first time in years, he felt complete. Would you like me to also create 5 strong image prompts for this story, so you can use them in your YouTube video visuals?